China's Bohai Sea Monster, spotted with military upgrade. New photographs of China's experimental sea-skimming aircraft, known as the Bohai Sea Monster, have emerged online, and this time they reveal something that earlier images did not: four external weapons pylons mounted under the wings strongly, suggesting the craft is being developed with a combat role in mind, not just as a transport. The new images shared on social media provide the clearest look yet at a prototype that defense analysts have been tracking since it first appeared on a pier along China's Bohai Sea nearly a year ago. The Bohai Sea Monster is a winging round effect craft, a type of vehicle that flies by riding a cushion of compressed air generated between its wings and the water surface beneath. Think of it as a hybrid between an aircraft and a very fast boat. It cannot fly high like a conventional plane, but it can skim just a few meters above the sea at speeds far beyond what any ship can achieve, while staying low enough to remain below the radar horizon that would otherwise detect it approaching. The physics behind it were understood as far back as the 1930s, when Finnish engineer Toivo Kallio built early experimental craft exploiting the ground effect principle. German designer Alexander Lippisch further developed the science. In the 1960s, it was the Soviet Union, however, that turned the concept into a military weapon, constructing enormous machines capable of carrying tanks and troops across the Caspian Sea at over 500 kilometers per hour, invisible to shore-based radar. The most famous of those machines was so baffling to American intelligence analysts when it first appeared in reconnaissance photographs that they called it the Caspian Sea Monster, and they spent years trying to figure out what category of vehicle they were even looking at. China's version was first spotted in images on Chinese social media in late June 2025 by open-source naval analyst H.I. Sutton, who documented it for Naval News under the headline, "China builds new large jet-powered Ikranoplan." That jet-powered designation has since proven incorrect. New photographs show four turboprop engines mounted in two paired nacelles above the wing, each driving large multi-blade propellers, a propulsion arrangement closer to maritime patrol aircraft than to the jet-powered Ikranoplans. The Soviet Union built the craft was dubbed the Bohai Sea Monster, a reference to the Soviet-era nickname and to the Bohai Sea where it was first photographed. It features a flying boat-style hull with a stepped bottom for water takeoffs and landings, a large joined-shaped tail, outrigger sponsons on the wingtips for buoyancy and stability, smaller sponsons amidships, and a crew cockpit in the nose. What the new photographs add to that picture is the four underwing pylons, the hardpoints used on military aircraft to carry weapons, external fuel tanks, or sensor pods. Their presence does not confirm any specific weapon load, and it remains possible they were included to test external carriage aerodynamics or to mount non-weapon systems, but the design choice carries weight. Pure transport and logistics aircraft do not typically require weapons hardpoints, and their appearance on the current prototype suggests China's engineers are either exploring a multi-role concept or developing the craft specifically with armed operations in mind. The strategic context for this aircraft points clearly toward Taiwan and China's broader ambitions across the South China Sea. A winging round effect craft offers a combination of characteristics that conventional amphibious ships and transport helicopters cannot match: crossing speeds measured in hundreds of kilometers per hour rather than the dozens. A landing craft manages a flight profile that hugs the wave tops and evades shore-based radar, immunity to the mines and submarines that threaten surface ships, and the ability to deliver troops or light vehicles directly onto a beach. Taiwan sits roughly 180 kilometers from the Chinese coast. At its nearest point, a craft of this type could cross that gap in under an hour, potentially placing assault forces ashore before defenders have fully organized a response. Analysts at Gray Dynamics have also noted that the ability to move troops and supplies rapidly between China's artificial island bases in the South China Sea would reinforce China's anti-access posture across the broader Pacific theater. The United States has its own WIG development underway. Boston-based startup Regent Craft is developing two sea glider platforms that exploit the same ground effect physics as the Bohai Sea Monster. The Squire is an autonomous uncrewed sea glider designed for cargo and logistics, while the Viceroy is a larger crewed passenger variant capable of carrying up to 12 passengers at speeds approaching 300 kilometers per hour just above the water surface. Both craft are designed to operate entirely in the ground effect zone, taking off and landing on water. How far along the Bohai Sea Monster actually is remains genuinely unknown. Photographs confirm a prototype exists and has been photographed on and near the water, suggesting testing of some kind is underway. Whether it is flying consistently, how it performs at speed, what its actual payload capacity is, and what weapons it will ultimately carry are questions the current images cannot answer. China develops programs like this at a pace and opacity that makes reliable external assessment difficult, and the distance between a prototype on a pier and a fielded military capability can stretch across years of development and billions in investment. What the new photographs confirm is that the pylons are there, the program is progressing, and whoever is building this aircraft has moved well past the question of whether it is a transport. The question now is what it is intended to carry into a fight.